What's happening, guys? So, back for some trade recaps, are ya? Here we're going to talk about my shorts on SYPR. Yeah, had some nice trades on it today. It was looking really strong pre-market, and I kind of was like, oh man, I would have probably traded this thing long if I would have gotten up. I was kind of being lazy this morning around 8 o'clock, and normally I'm up by 8 and kind of ready to go, but today I was kind of like, eh. But if I would have seen this thing pop up after the news, kind of got some news that it signed some defense contracts. News, it didn't have a full disclosure, but it was very positive news nonetheless. So I wanted to be long on this stock basically pre-market, and then after the open, it really showed weakness. So I didn't take any trades pre-market, unfortunately. Just got up too late, and it was already too extended. So waited for a pullback. Didn't really get a proper one. You kind of had this one right here before the open, but that was too close. I don't usually like to buy like a few minutes before the opening bell because you don't know what's going to happen. People start taking profits, and it just can dump. So you kind of had that happen at the open, actually. Had this huge candle of like flying all the way up above 7, then flushing back down to 650 and like popping back up, to 789 and then flushing down. And then you kind of had this consolidation level where it really couldn't break above the VWAP, and it had this rejection. So once it broke down below this level and it showed that it didn't want to try to continue and kind of hold above the VWAP, I was looking to get short. So on that pop there, I took some shorts in the 620s after it tried to pop back up a little bit, and then I covered in the 590s, so a quick 30-cent short. Wasn't, pretty nice trades, and the next trade I got in, and basically it started going against me, and so I covered, but then with the intention that if it didn't continue higher, I would get back in with a better average, because when I cover and then add higher, I have now a better price average. So I still kept some shares from my 605 fill, but I got more shares in at 614, so that got my average up to like 610. So then I covered towards 6 and then at 590 there. So that was like a 20-30 cent win as well, but with one loss. So out of those trades there, it was 3 wins and 1 loss. And then this last trade was also a win. So as it kind of had this reversal, and I didn't want to short it here because I saw it consolidating. It wasn't wanting to break this low, and you started to getting some buying volume. So then I waited for this kind of bounce, and I wasn't sure if it wanted to retest because, like I said, the news was pretty good on this stock, and it still is, which is why I think you're seeing this nice rebound that's happening now. But because of this hard sell-off and the amount of selling volume that was coming in, and it was already up over 150% on the day, it was kind of like, all right, I'm going to short this thing, but I don't want to be too aggressive, which is why I was kind of covering these quicker than I might. If I really knew the stock was going to be weak, I might hold these for longer term positions. But because the news was really strong, I was really just wanting to catch the momentum on it, and then maybe get back in once it tried to reverse, which it did here. And then I waited to see if it was going to break. It didn't. Came back down pretty quickly. So then there was a nice little pop here, and I shorted it in the 550s, and then again at 560. So I had like a high five, probably like a 558 average, and then I covered that all about 546, 547. So it was about an 11-cent win on the last 100 shares there, which wasn't bad. It's like all of these trades were decent trades. Like I said, I could have held them for a little longer, and definitely, like, if I would have just held these last shares and then sold them at 485, it would have been a really, really nice trade. But like I said, the news on this thing was really strong, and it's really positive, so I really didn't want to be holding this thing for too long. I thought this sell-off was really extreme, but that's also why I wanted to take advantage of it. But I didn't want to be holding too long, and then it, because this thing can rip against you quick. Like you said, it, like you see it did here, right? In 2 candles, it goes from 570 all the way up to 650, right? So it's almost $1 a share in 2 candles, and I don't want to be holding when that happens. So I was just kind of taking quick scalps. hoping to, because I can get into these trades. Like, these only cost me like 50 cents, $1 for some of these, at a cent a share. It only cost me like $3 or $4 basically for all of these trades. So I was able to make a decent profit with those trades, and basically look for the opportunities when they were presented to me, but not holding too long in case that this stock turns around. So like, it's like if you were trying to short it at $5 here, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to short at the break of 5, and then I'm going to hold because this thing's going to just keep going lower, and then it holds at 45 and it just rips back against you, and now you're kind of in that position where, what do I do? Because now the shorts have all covered. They're all happy with their profits, shorting in the 6s and in the 550 area, and now they've all covered down here towards 485. So now you're sitting here like, okay, what do I do? This thing looks like it might be reversing, and now if it can break above the volume weighted average price and give you some momentum higher, then this thing could start running again like it was doing pre-market. We really haven't seen this kind of upward pressure or volume, I should say, but you're seeing this here, right? Look at the volume in these candles starting to show that we have some more upward momentum maybe coming. So we'll see. Keep an eye on SYPR. Maybe we have another opportunity to short it towards the VWAP here, as it does look like it is trying to come down. So this is kind of like a little bear flag here, but at the same time, if it does want to keep going higher, this might just be a 5-minute pullback, and then it can try and rip. Because like I said, the news is very strong. So my advice is, if you're going to short it, be sure to cover quickly, or at least have a plan for when you're going to stop out, because this thing can rip against you quickly. But I was able to be green on almost every trade. So that's kind of that was my day for today. PLTR, we're still kind of sitting here waiting to see what's going to happen. Really, I haven't really added to my position. I was thinking about it today at the 25s, but I'm like, it was really weak. It looked like it wanted to come down, and then when it started to bounce, I'm still not kind of convinced that this thing really wants to run again. So I'm waiting to see if it's going to bounce or if it's going to dip. And if it's going to dip, I'm going to add. If it bounces, well, then maybe I'll add as it moves higher. But I don't want to add in a position where I don't know that it has reached the bottom, or at least where it's in consolidation and there is a possibility that it can rip down. So I want to hold my shares now around the 27s, and then I want to get in if it goes lower to average down. That's my plan on PLTR. Anyway, that is my recap for today, and that looks like it. And SYPR does look like it is coming back. So you could have shortened that pop there into the 560s, and you would have had a nice short. But be careful, beware, because this thing can go against you quickly. But like I said, I'm green on it. You can see the trend. You can see how it just didn't want to break above the view. It wanted to give us this rejection. FSR above 20, Fisker. So that thing looks like a long. It was down to like 15 the other day, and now it's all the way back up to 20. They just signed a new deal with somebody for EV. They're gonna work with them to make a new EV vehicle or something. So like FonCon or something like that, or FonCox or something like that, or Foxconn, I think it is. So they're partnering with them to with the Fisker to make electric vehicles essentially. So that's why they're popping today, up 25%, looking pretty decent. This is SNSS too. I was looking at that earlier. Yeah. And I was kind of thinking about this for the short, but the thing is, I don't like to sit around all day staring at charts. I kind of, if I can get a few trades and get green decently, then I like to walk away and just keep my profits. There's no sense of over trading. There's always going to be opportunities tomorrow, so just try and take your trades and learn from them, especially when you're not like, I've been doing it for quite a bit, but not to the point where consider myself a experienced trader. I'm really still novice, still getting to learn all the ropes and still developing my skills. And if you're in that position, which most traders are, I would say 90% of us, because if you're already profitable, then you really don't. You're just doing your thing. then we really need to be always willing to learn, always willing to listen, always willing to develop, always willing to be considerate of how we can get better, because no matter what, you're always going to have new opportunities. The market's going to give you different possibilities. Look what happened yesterday in the big sell-off, right? We had huge sell-off yesterday, and you can see it in PLTR, right? So this dip here in PLTR from 27s all the way down, 26s, 27s all the way down to the 23 9s, and the whole market tanked. So the SPY looked exactly like this. So yesterday at the open, it was basically sell, 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 and it was one of those things where I was like, man, this is crazy. And I took a trade on SNDL. It really wasn't anything special, and it was a loss, so I really wasn't nothing to write home about. It was a really small trade. It's basically like a $10 loss, $12 loss. So it was one of those ones where I was getting short at in an area where I saw resistance, and I figured because the market was tanking, it was going to kind of give us this move lower, and Tilray was at this point going lower, that I thought maybe this would follow. But unfortunately, it started to go against me, and I kind of was in that situation where I was going to cover, and instead of covering, I actually added to my position, which, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing, because I ended up averaging in at a better price, which then I actually was only down $1 at one point. So I covered some of my shares here, basically for a small win, because my cost basically actually came up to about this price. So it was basically a break-even trade or a small win with that first batch. And then I kind of was waiting to see, and then it went against me again, so I covered the rest for about a 3 or 4 cent loss, which on SNDL is 3 or 4%, so it's still a decent loss. But because I was only in very short, small size, it really wasn't a big loss. So it's about $10 loss, $10 in commission, so about a $20 loss. Nothing insane. Made it back today, and then some. So really wasn't anything to write home about, but didn't do a video yesterday because I was kind of doing other things, and I was interested in what the market was going to do, so I was kind of watching closely, but also I was trying to get some other things done around here, so didn't have time to make a video. Sorry about that. But anyway, I will leave you here with that little bit of a recap, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and my my victories. Yeah. So hopefully PLTR goes to the moon. I know that it's big on the GameStonk, Reddit community, Wall Street Bets. So hopefully we get a huge pop and this thing goes to 40 again, and I can make some decent profits. But yeah, we're swing trading PLTR. That's our big swing trade right now. We might add. We're probably going to add, especially if it holds this 26, 27 area, maybe dips, and shows us where it really wants to do. We're probably going to add. Probably going to add if it breaks 32, just for that kind of extra, it'll confirm to us that it wants to be bullish for the short term, and then we can see a move up towards 30 and 40, $35, $40. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not too worried. Willing to hold until we see it. Anyway, have a good one, guys, and thanks for watching, and come back for another video and another trade recap.